Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip, and CJ's muted. You're
Bear
muted.
with us.
There we go.
Like I said, nothing but technical difficulties today, so please bear with us.
That's right. It is emanating from who knows what, but this has been a mess for a while. But we made it through. We're here, guys and girls. It is Wednesday in the Rev. Uh, and I guess the big news today is, besides the horrendous commute to Boston this morning, I heard about like 2.5 to 3 hours and all the zillions of accidents. Everybody was, I guess, back and awake. Uh, is the pending lawsuit, CJ? You want to bring us up to speed on that pending lawsuit?
Well, they're going to discuss it in executive session today. It is left up to Tracy the douchebag Curley on whether or not she wants to keep it hidden because she has something to hide, or the school committee has something to hide. But it was set up that way by Paul Coogan to be put in executive session. Now,
Who hides everything?
Yeah, who hides everything. They're going to discuss it tonight in executive session. The meeting started moments ago, and we'll see what happens. They're very hush-hush. Very few comments being made by anyone on the school committee. I've spoken to several of them. Just doesn't seem to be a lot of chatter about it.
Yeah.
They all think they're right, but they all think they're wrong. I said, look, if you need an attorney, I know a good guy. I said, he loves Fall River, especially beating their ass in court. So that's interesting. But one of the things I found very interesting was the fact that Bruce Assad once again disclosed that he has a financial interest in the Fall River School Department. But that's not going to affect his job as corporate counsel. Do I look like an idiot?
No, but he thinks everybody is. That's the problem.
And you know what? Bruce Asshat needs to go.
How long
He's
has he
been a
been there?
political tick for years.
Yeah, he's been there for since the Ice Age.
Right. And remember, at the same time he was doing that, he was working for the sheriff's office.
Tom Hotz, that's right. Yep. He had so many side jobs, he couldn't do his primary job as an attorney.
That's right.
He had to stop his practice for a while.
Right.
Because he had all the side jobs that these politicians gave him. Of course he has no, but even the perception, which that is, obviously, is a violation of the law. But that lawsuit, or the allegation of that lawsuit, as people who have been through it, you and I have been threatened with the bludgeoning of a lawsuit. We were going to be sued, and we know who's behind this because she's always yelling, "Sue everybody, sue everybody." Well, from the information we have so far, yeah, you're right. I mean, we need the whole law department fundamentally to go. We should have like one lawyer at City Hall to handle pothole claims, and they should farm out the rest as an as-needed basis.
Suggestion today, noting that Bruce Assad doesn't do anything, okay, because he doesn't, that they should get an outside law firm because they spend all this money on outside lawyers to do Bruce Assad's work.
And Rumsey's work, and the entire city law department's work. Yeah, you're right.
Go to a firm like KP Law, hire them. They'll send an attorney to every meeting. They'll bill them $4.50 an hour or whatever it may be, and it'll be done.
Yeah.
No benefits, no pensions, no nothing.
Well, we've already had a problem with KP Law. I'm not a big advocate of that. I think you've got to hire a specialist and somebody with some ethics. KP Law proved that they're typical lawyers because they got burnt when they represented the city council when they showed they made the exact opposite opinion in another community that wanted the opposite opinion.
Right.
So they will fashion whatever you want, and that's the problem that the people in Fall River don't understand. That's why we don't need a law department. Well, because they farm out. Hi, Farrah. They farm out all the cases, any kind of case. If they can't make a deal, they'll farm it out to somebody else because they're there because they can't practice law and make a living because they're dunce. You get a specialist. Yeah. Well, I mean, the problem is that we tried to get rid of these liberal judges, James, by having them elected.
Just so you know, I don't see those messages right away. James' message just came up on my screen, and I just clicked the button to put it up on the screen for everyone to see, and there it is. That's how much of a delay I have.
Yeah,
I have between a 5 and 10-second delay.
We're having a nightmare with this thing for the last week or so. So forgive us if we're not ignoring you. It's like this has been a nightmare. I thought I was on the show, but I wasn't in the show. Then I was we were on different links, and there's been a delay. It's a mess. Dumsy, Dumsy. That's a good one. Yeah, runaway Dumsy, not Rumsey. But listen, we don't need that. They farm out everything. And we've seen our law department in action. CJ found something that they couldn't find in 6 months, and he found it in 15 seconds on his phone, and we were there. And they lost that lawsuit, and they lose virtually all of them. And this is the problem. What we should have is the guy that's been around forever through a whole bunch of mayors is Gary Howiak. He kind of keeps in his own lane. He handles a lot. He handles workman's comp, I know, and he does he used to do potholes and stuff. That's all we should be doing. We should have a couple of specialists on retainer who are ethical, but they don't want that because if you hire a lawyer that's ethical, they're not going to just fashion an opinion if they think you're wrong. They're going to feel obligated to say no. That's you're not right with this position. That's what they don't want. We're paying our money like this lawsuit. This is a threat. This is a bargaining chip. They're going to go in there and say, if you keep me on, I'll drop the lawsuit. Well, what you should say, if this is true, these allegations, again, I will preface it by saying allegations. If these allegations are in fact correct, and if she's being threatened with, tell her sue. Sue. What is she going to sue for? It is allegedly because of character assassination or whatever. I don't. They didn't traps out.
You know that even if they fire her, she walks away with $100,000.
Yeah,
that's in the contract. That if they fire her without cause, they've got to pay her $100,000. Who writes these freaking contracts?
They do. Them and Paul. If she's one of them. Remember that she's part of the team. She came out of the system. They take care of each other. They cover for each other. They don't get terminated. They don't get or they do. They get a golden parachute. This is bullshit. Yeah, and that's exactly right. That I'm gonna keep on. She'll keep kissing the ring. And being a jackass because she won't give out information that she's obligated to do. I think she's terrible. I don't know her personally, but what I've seen of her refusing to answer, shutting off her email, that's not what a superintendent does. It's her job to do it. And tell her to sue. What are her grounds? We're speaking hypotheticals here, but. What is her grounds? They hurt her feelings.
Oh, they want to fire me, and I did nothing wrong.
Yeah. Oh, they assassinated her character. Well, I got some bad news for them. For her and her friends, and Bruce Assad knows this. A really good lawyer told me a long time ago. Any idiot can file a lawsuit as long as they got the filing fee. Doesn't mean they're going to win. And if you file a lawsuit, there are two elements. There is liability, and there is damages. There's no liability here because she's got it in her contract that they can do this to her.
Right.
So what is she going to sue them for? Exercising their elected officials or exercising their right because they are on the school committee. They're exercising their right to attempt to terminate her without cause or with cause, whatever. But they have the right to do that. So there goes the liability section. That's out the freaking window. As far as the damages, she has no damages. She's still getting paid. She's still in her position. So what are they gonna give her damages for? There's no damages. And I've seen that happen. I brought people to that attorney, and he said, yeah, you got a case, I'll win it, but you'll owe me money after the case is over because you're not going to make enough on the damage section to pay my fee. So that's the way it is. Yeah, no, yeah, she blamed it on the Republicans and voter suppression. What a crazy. Look, they just can't take it. You know, I mean, she's got two brain cells. One's lost and the other one's looking for it. I'm surprised, you know. Yeah, you know what she's going to be? She's going to be the next Stacey Abrams. She's going to basically run for everything and she'll just disappear into the woodwork, because remember Beto O'Rourke?
I remember that name.
Rich Butte from Texas too, who ran for a bunch of things, didn't get elected, and this is what's going to happen to her. Now she's out. People are tired of listening to her ranting. No. Yeah. Yeah. She's working under that contract. You're right, James. I mean, that's the contract. She can't sue them for exercising that clause if they want to terminate her. But, you know, she can't, you know, they don't have a right. Yes, they do. They're school committeemen. She works for the school department.
Well, Paul turned around and had the nerve to talk to the press, which, you know, every time he opens his mouth, he puts his foot in it. And he said that this school committee is new. They don't know her. I've worked with her for a long time, and she will do what is right for the students.
Like hiring somebody who called
everybody Nazis.
Anybody who voted for Trump or is a conservative a Nazi. Yeah, that's the right thing to do. Listen, what Paul really meant in prevaricator, pathological prevaricator Paul's code language, what that really means is, I've been working with her at the school department. She's part of the clique, and we're going to protect her at all costs. They don't understand that we do not ever hold anybody accountable. We do not ever demand performance. We've got a school department that's a disaster. We've only got one school that meets the criteria. She refuses to give information to school commitment. She violates, her fiduciary obligation in her job, her administrative obligations in that job every single day I've seen it. She's pathetic. But remember, the head of security got a year with pay and then disappeared into the woodwork. And it was alleged that he was doing a nasty with an employee up in the attic somewhere at Durfee. That's an allegation. But he was gone for a year. We've had all kinds of crap. But we never know. We still don't know what happened with Malone. But we know Malone and other communities did a lot of bad things that we know about. There are allegations of what he did, but they covered it up. Paul Coogan's right. They're new. They don't understand. Shut the F up. We cover up everything and take care of people that are our friends, no matter how bad they are or how incompetent they are. We don't care. Look at Paul. Who the hell could ever make him a vice principal? But they did. So Yeah. 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 I guess he never heard of a ghost gun, James. You can walk through a metal detector with a ghost gun. You know.
Hey, guess what? The kids aren't supposed to have cell phones, but they've got them anyways. They're supposed to put them in a locked bag. Guess what? They're using their phones in the school, and the high school doesn't have an ice rink, so they have to use the ice rink next door. And guess what? They don't have gun detectors there. So, Paul, keep your mouth shut. Your foot keeps going in your mouth. You must need, some athlete's foot fungus stuff for your mouth, because by now you're spewing with fungus.
Well, the problem with Paul is that he was never he was always a political tick, but never a politician. See, politicians know how to lie. So he doesn't know how to lie. He just buries himself because he keeps saying, "Hey, listen, everybody, I'm going to tell you what this is about. You got to elect a Democrat. You got to elect me. I'm the only Democrat because you don't get anything unless you're a Democrat. You got to be on the team. Well, you got to be on the team in the school department. So it doesn't matter."
Because you know what? Fall River's on the team. But you know what, Paul? Your team is not that big. Democrats in Massachusetts only make up 25.4% of the electorate. The unenrolled make up 64%. 64% of the electorate. So you're not part of a club. You're part of a Nazi organization. Oh, did I say that word? Oh, did you feel hurt because I called you Nazis? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to call you Nazis. You're all fascist pigs. Was I clear on that one?
Yeah. Well, look, like Paul, like I said, he's been a lifelong political tick, but he's not a politician. Politicians know how to lie on demand and deflect everything. But Paul goes out and tells you, "Shut up. You got to be my friend. You got to be on the team. You get shit if you don't. And if you're on our team, you can do anything you want." And to go back to Boomer's post, where were they when children were assaulted and everything? No, it's the electorate. Nobody's arguing with that one, James. It's the people's fault. It's the people's fault because they comprise even a lower percentage. What was the voting turnout this election, CJ? 11%.
11%.
Yeah, so
Big
that's
turnout.
that's less than half.
Fall River.
Listen, there's your answer. Why is Fall River this way? Less than even half of the Democrats. If the registered Democrats only comprise 24, 25% of the electorate, well, 11% is not even half of the entire, let alone.
That's right.
I mean, it's a minuscule part of the electorate. So when you allow the lunatics to run the asylum by not showing up to vote, you get the government. You get the government that you deserve.
That's right. Thank you for playing.
Yeah, that's it. And therein lies the rub. The people didn't come out. We had a very low turnout, and we almost got them knocked out. Yeah, well, it's tragic, but our forefathers were celebrating 250 years.
By the way, Fall River has done nothing. I'm putting together a 250th celebration. Do you remember under Carlton Viveris at the 200-year celebration, the bicentennial? The big events we had? We had huge parades down
They
Bedford
named the
Street.
park after it.
What?
They
We
even
named the
named
park after it.
after
That's
it.
right. Okay? We had huge parades down Bedford Street. We had carnivals. We had huge fireworks displayed, paid for by local businesses, not by the city. What do we have for this year? A spit in the bucket. A spit in the bucket.
Yeah, look, these politicians are ridiculous, and it said Senate rejects the war powers resolution. Good. These people they're just, I mean, they're just beyond belief. They're so. I saw an Iranian, female Iranian. I think she was an attorney, but I think she's British. Um, she had a British accent being interviewed, and she talked about the thousands of children who were murdered by the Iranian dictatorship. She talked about an 11-year-old that was shot in front of his family in the head, about another young child, like 5 or 6, who was killed, and the between 30 and 34,000 people that were killed over a weekend for demonstrating. And she said, where were the Democrats in your country for those children? Where were they? Nowhere. They're going to whine and bitch about killing the Ayatollah Khamenei? I'm sorry. You're getting no tears from me. Yeah, well, Paul will take a knee with BLM. He'll go stand with the trans who are reading in the library, not say, I'm the mayor, I don't take a side, you have a right to be trans, and the other people that are there from the religious sects that are on the other side of the street are also taxpayers too. But not freaking Paul. Paul's a typical Democrat. He is going to go wherever his lunacy will take him to get votes. And that's the problem. We have an absolute disaster as a city because we got 11% of people running the city. I mean, it's nuts, and I don't know what it takes. It took the last time. Maybe this blizzard, my street's still a shit show. I got at the top of the street where that giant wall was, that I was walled off. I had to come in backwards because we cleaned the bottom of the street off. There's still a drift, an 8 or 9 foot drift that sticks out beyond all the other drifts, which makes the street extremely narrow. And they got cars parked on the non-hydrant street side. And when there's a car there, which is most of the time, and you get between that drift and the parked car, you got about 1.5 inches on either side of your car to get through. You either got to hit the other car or hit the drift. So, and it's going to stay like that for whatever. Nobody noticed that. You can't get an ambulance down that street through that gap. You can't get an ambulance. They're going to have to take out that snowdrift. And that snowdrift is about, I'd say, 40, 50 feet long. That one drift, it sticks out 2 feet past all the other drifts on the street, which make the street narrow. But this is what the hell we got. Nobody's paying attention. The storm's over now. They'll forget about it. Remember
that's exactly what's happening. Everyone's forgetting about it. Everyone's forgetting about it. Nobody's talking about the fact that Carol Fiola's house was plowed out hours after the snow ended. Nobody's talking about the fact that all the city councilors that live in the North End were plowed out hours after the snow ended.
Yeah. Well,
nobody's talking about the fact that Paul Coogan's house was plowed out hours after the snow ended.
I got a comment on James's post. I don't agree with that. Paul Coogan knew that insurance was there for every other snowstorm that we had. And he also knew that Jaysville got rid of the trucks for 6 years. The only reason that he got rid of the insurance, because I'm sure one of his friends they were getting that insurance from one of his friends, is because they needed to deflect from the fact of his incompetency during the storm. So they're going to blame it on a mayor that was, that hasn't been in office for over 6 years. So you didn't notice that for 6 years. You didn't notice there was insurance. You didn't notice that there was that we didn't have any trucks. And even when they warned you, you're the only mayor in recorded history for this storm that said we got sucker punched. That means you got hit without, you didn't know it was coming. Well, everybody knew it was coming. Like we said before, you should have been, on Saturday night, you and your dead ass and all your department heads should have been in there. They're going to use their mantra. And CJ and I heard it firsthand. When somebody fraudulently filled out an overtime form, sent it to and processed it through a department where the overtime wasn't even
for that department, for that project.
And what did they get? Did they fire him? No. Did they charge him?
No.
That's fraud. No, like Tim Waltz. And it's like, but what did they do? He walked back there and Terry Sullivan leaned over and said, keep your mouth shut, keep your head down. In a couple of weeks, they're going to forget all about this and they'll be on to the next thing. And here we go. We already forgot the shit show that he's done. We're worried about, now we're still talking about Jazel. So that shit works. Deflections work. People are going to say it's Jazel's fault. No, sorry. It's not Jazel's fault. We needed more trucks. We should have bought. He blew millions of dollars in opera money. He didn't buy one freaking heavy-duty snow removal truck. Jazel wasn't the man when we had that. I don't agree with. I didn't agree with Jazel getting rid of trucks. I didn't agree with us getting rid of trash. And look what happened. It bit us all when he asked. Every time the government tells you that they're going to get rid of these employees that we have control over and the equipment that we have control over and bring in some private vendor, at some point in time, that private vendor will realize that we can't do that job anymore and rape the shit out of us. And that's exactly what they do. We got rid of our snow removal capability and we get killed on snow removal. They got rid of our trash collection and they're killing us on the trash. This is exactly what they do. These freaking politicians are all full of shit. All they care about is getting themselves and their friends rich and screwing the taxpayers. That's the bottom line. There's nothing else around it.
Hey, Chip, do you remember when the buses used to have a plow on the front of them in the city?
I do. Yeah.
But, that only made sense, right?
Yeah. Just like the guy in Johnston. I mean, he's a current mayor, and he looks like he's a fairly young guy.
I know, he looks like he's 12.
Yeah, he looks like he's about 12. I don't know. That's because we're getting old, but everybody looks 12 to me. But what did he say? I knew that regular plows that we normally hire couldn't do the job. I went and I contracted.
And he contracted the big guns. And guess what? The day after the snow, they were picking up trash. They were parking on the street. The kids were in school. Imagine what a little.
I don't know. This guy doesn't like Jazel, but Jazel didn't run the city badly. He wasn't a great. But what's that last one? You can't get rid of the rainwater tax. You can't get rid of it now because they screwed up the paperwork. Did they get rid of the guy that cost the stat tax? No! They didn't get rid of him. They put him in charge of the freaking water department. And when he didn't file the paperwork for us to get a federal grant, well, we wouldn't be paying for that.
That's right.
They kept him on. They not only kept him on, when he left the job, they gave him extra money. When he got on a job because he was related to a politician, this is a true story. Listen to this. They gave him 8% more than everybody else at the water department. 8% more.
As a consultant.
Why? Well, they classified him as a special employee and stuff, and he wouldn't be in a retirement system, so they gave him the 8% that you had to pay into the retirement system. They gave it to his check so he could get a 401k or whatever.
And then tell him what the bastard did.
Sounds like it's reasonable, right? 30 years later, fast forward, he's getting off the job. He goes, oh, by the way, I want all that freaking time back. I was getting 8% more than everybody else in the water department, but I'm not going to give you the 8% back that I got. But I want all that time toward my retirement, and I'll pay for it at that rate because now I'm making 100 times more. And guess what happened? He got the time back, and he didn't pay a freaking dime. The city paid his back freaking thing. Why? Because he was related to the freaking mayor. So he got his full retirement. He got 8% more than everybody else under the guise that he wasn't going to be in a retirement system. Then he got into the retirement system because they intentionally classified him wrong. And legally, you had to give it to him. And they knew that from the get-go. You waited 30 years to do this shit. You want some more stories about Fall River? That's why they hate me. I know all the bullshit that they've done to circumvent the law. And then when he retired, they hired him as a consultant. This is what you get. Tuck it in the rear end of the taxpayers, and you will get rewarded. They're doing the same thing right now with the superintendent of schools. She's part of the team. That's a true story. I got the records to prove it. Got every single penny. He didn't even have to pay it back. Because at that meeting I said he should at least pay the 8% back. Oh yeah. He paid it back. No, he didn't pay it back. The city paid it back. That's what happens when you're connected. You can rape, pillage, being incompetent. You get a year. He's not. You know, the security guy wasn't the only guy that got a year off. The guy in the housing authority got a year off with the proviso that he couldn't even set on housing authority property, but he was going to get his full pay for a year. See if they do that for you. Yeah. Yeah, he's still working. He'll work for the city till he drops dead. Because he's connected. It don't matter. He's the guy this is the reason we got the rainwater tax. We did not file the appropriate paperwork. Why? Maybe he was at Linda, but he was on vacation. That's why. Oh yeah. They also appointed Steve Long for a few jobs. Yeah, well, that side of his family sprinkled all over the place. They are how Paul got into politics. He didn't. The Cougans were not that until they got involved with the Longs. The Longs go back. I mean,
when old man Long has his ass beat running for office.
John Long, the father, the patriarch of the Long family, was a state rep for 30 years. And that was a very, 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 very long time ago because I think he was a state rep before I was born, and that was a long time ago. But he got bounced out, and then by a two-termer, and then Eddie Lambert took that rep's job. And then after Eddie Lambert, we ended up with what's his name, Sullivan, and a few people. We had in between we had what's his name, actually Heron. Heron got it.
Al Heron.
Heron was there, so we had a whole bunch of people. So the Cougans go back. I mean, we're talking into probably the 50s.
Yep.
When the father started this political
Just so you
empire.
know, the Fall River educator assholes, the union, is out there advocating for the superintendent of schools. When does a union ever advocate for an administrator? They don't do that much advocating for their members.
And school departments are different, like I said, different world. You know, I mean, that's also the same.
Board
If my memory serves me correctly, didn't that same union not want her to be superintendent?
Exactly. But they gave them a contract.
Oh,
and now God's gift.
Oh, so that's the way it works, huh?
Now they're riding her teeth to the finish line.
What did Stevie say? That's all that matters. Pushed her over the edge. That's it. She's a hilltopper. She's a hilltopper. That's right. Stevie said, "Rah rah rah, go Durfee, rah rah rah."
Yeah, big freaking deal,
Stevie. That's right. Yeah, and veterans to sleep in the streets. Yeah, at the end of that sentence, we can attach. And now what we see going on in Iran and our military, you know, in harm's way, nobody gives a shit. They'll come back. They'll, yeah, if they live in Massachusetts, they'll come back, and if they need housing, they'll be sleeping in the street because our state reps go, "Oh, we want to take care of the illegals." Did you see Tim Walz's that? Jim Jordan skewered him. Oh, he just skewered him. And you listen to it. If you guys can get that tape, watch it. Because you'll see what Paul should watch these tapes to learn what politicians do. Here's a guy that was representing that he knew nothing about it. And they said he knew about all that fraud in 2019. And then Jim Jordan read, a court actually said that he was lying. And Jordan said, the budget for this item was $300,000, and then 3 years later, it was like $8 billion. How can anything go up this much? And it's like, and then he said, the court called you a liar. They said you misrepresented this. You were our attorneys don't accept that interpretation. And Jordan said, it's not an interpretation. The judge said it. So you're saying a judge lied. He never said, and he kept saying it. He wouldn't say the judge lied because he's a politician. Coogan would say that. But he said, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that my attorney said that they didn't agree with that opinion. Well, it's not an opinion. It's an actual ruling, number one. But that's what politicians do. They learn how to be absolute pathological liars. And no matter what you say, they deflect it and give you a half answer, a non-answer, or pure bullshit, and they just stick with it. They just stick with the lie. Never admit it. It's like what do criminals do? They tell you. Never, ever, ever admit to anything. Just deny, deny, deny. Waltz, then another rep started ripping them apart with facts and figures, but he was just sitting there like my attorney said he didn't agree. Well, I may not agree with the Supreme Court ruling on anything, but the Supreme Court is not an opinion now. It becomes an actual ruling that you have to abide by. Well, the judge said you lied, and Jordan asked him numerous times. So you're saying everybody else that was involved in this. They had another guy who was a Somalian who said that they were responsible for the fraud. Everybody's lying but you. Is that correct, Governor Waltz? I'm not saying that. I'm saying that my attorney said that they don't agree. Tough shit. The Canadians don't agree that they lost the gold medal. But they did. But this is what Paul doesn't know how to do. Paul gets on there, gets in front of a microphone, and reinforces the fact that everything is about politics with political ticks. And tonight, It's probably going to go. I'm very, very interested. Yeah. I'm very interested to see how this plays out. Are they gonna cave to the pressure, the threat of a lawsuit? I don't know. Yeah, well, that's what it is. This is the
It's interesting. Kevin asked for the policy on the issue, and they booed him for it. This is the Fall River educator asshats. Well, I used to have a great deal of respect for them. When Jerry Fowler was president, let me tell you something. They kicked ass. Jerry turned around and said, "Screw you, we're striking," and they went on the picket line. Okay? Now you got somebody out there saying, "Oh, Tracy and my daughter went to school together." Who gives a shit?
Well, listen, you wonder why we have people that upset because a guy that killed 34,000 people for demonstrating, and they don't call him a dictator or a fascist or a Nazi, but they will go out and radically attack people who are attempting to get. Now you have schools teaching this. When they go in there and there's no decorum, who's the chairman of that committee? Is he ruling the booing out of order? Is he telling everybody? No. So this is it. That's the problem. And you're right. There have been a lot of presidents that have defied SCOTUS rulings, but that's on the politicians. The body politic allows them to do that. It depends on, Biden said, they said you couldn't give the money for the tuition, and he just said, like, F the Supreme Court. And now Trump will say that and they go F the Supreme Court. But that's up to see the politicians. It's a big game. I'll have to pull that letter out on another show and read it to everybody again to remind you of what that great reporter from the Miami Herald that said, that it's all bullshit because they're all on the same team. They pretend to dislike each other and shit. Nothing gets done except they get rich. And if they wanted to fix anything, they could fix it. Like you said, one of the first lines was, if they all want less taxes, they could give you lower taxes. Yeah, they actually did say that. They actually wrote the New York Times, I think a Post, or one of those liberal papers. I don't know which one's liberal, but they actually called him. I think it's avicula, which means like you're like an uncle. They said when he was in a good mood, he was like your nice uncle. But he could be a terrorist at times. So they tried to sugarcoat the guy. The guy's been the biggest murderer in the world. Like I said, they had that attorney from London, or from England, with a British accent, talking about him assassinating children in the middle of the streets. 6-year-olds, 11-year-olds. They killed. As a matter of fact, one of the most tragic ones I heard was she talked about the kid. She gave the child's name. They murdered the child in the middle of the street, raped the child, and the mother got so upset she hung herself in the square. The mother killed herself. This is what you're defending. This is what the Democrats defend. This guy's killed millions, not thousands, millions. And between him, he just killed over 30,000 over a weekend. Just mowed them down. See, that's justice. We should be able to stick these imbeciles in a capsule and beam them over like in Star Trek over to Iran and let them go out into the square and let the Ayatollah Khomeini kill all of them. And then you see how many of them continue their dumb shit. It won't happen. They can only get away with this in the United States of America. And they hate that. They hate this country, but it's the only place on the planet you can get away with the bullshit that they do. And that's a fact. Try it. Try it in Somalia. Try it in Haiti. Try it in Afghanistan. Try it in Iran. Go ahead, try it. See how long you last. And then you're gonna wail when that disgusting piece of shit gets a dirt nap. Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, well, I guess he is, but he's got nukes, and look what happened. They let them, he got nukes, and everybody's afraid of the little twerp. It's because the guy can actually do a lot of damage. He's an imbecile, but the guy's got nuclear weapons. This is what, good point. Yeah, that's a good point, because the reality is this is why we're doing what we're doing in Iran. We can't give these people nukes. Look at all of the missiles that they're lobbing all over the Middle East. Now, imagine if they had nuclear warheads attached to them. I mean, the Democrats, they don't make any sense. Yeah, well, that's the problem. It only happens in America. It only happens in America. You can get away with this shit. And there are people who are trying to live a normal life, and you can't. And James, there are people who allow illegals and thugs and criminals out on their streets, but those people, own the government. Look at Mexico. The cartels run the government. The cartels murder people anytime they want.
Hey, look at what just happened in Fall River. An illegal raping people.
Yeah.
And
yep.
What's he doing here? Why wasn't he locked up? Why wasn't he turned over to ICE?
Because you can't.
Because Paul's kissing the ass of the left-wing nut jobs.
Yeah.
Because the judges are all left-wing nut jobs.
Well,
the district attorney is a left-wing nut job. And none of them have any balls.
Well, and this is the key. In a perfect world, we would elect people who would pass a law that says, if you're a left-wing judge or you're a politician and your actions result in the rape or murder or violent crime on anybody because you did not follow the law and punish these people, you just let them loose on a society, that you have to suffer the legal consequences.
Oh, you mean like the parents of children who shoot up a school?
Yep.
Now the parents can get convicted?
Yep.
And serve life in prison?
Yeah, the parents can do that, but you'll never see a politician get pulled out.
That's right. You'll never see a judge worry about it. Because why? They're immune.
James, everybody holds criminals to account better than we do. Everybody.
Hammurabi Code. That's what we need.
I went to a lot of countries. I've been to a lot of countries. And I can say, nobody wants to go to jail in the countries I went to. I saw virtually all of Western Europe. I couldn't go to the other side of the Iron Curtain, but at that time, and I saw other areas of this world. And I had people tell me, oh, nobody wants to go to jail here. You're lucky if you come out alive. Oh, the punishment. In Japan, drunken driving, you lose your license for 10 years. And then when you get back, you can't drive. If they catch you driving again, you get life. You don't see it. You look at the punishments for drug traffic in some of these countries. They get death penalty, life in prison, 20 years. Remember that Australian that got locked up and they were going to kill her. Then they were going to give her life. Then he finally, I don't know what happened, diplomatic shit. But nowhere else in the world did they get away with it except the United States. And these people are always complaining that we're not liberal enough. This is the problem. I mean, does crime exist in those places? Yeah, they got warlords and criminal enterprises like the cartels that are powerful. But the average, you don't get the punishment. This is the only country that is fascinated with rehabilitation. Prison is supposed to be a vacation. It's supposed to be like a technical school. You can go there. They're going to give you a trade. They're going to give you, even if you've been there 5, 6, 7 times and you've proven you're a career criminal, they don't give a shit. Because I've always said, why the prefix re? What does re mean? Recycle? Retread? It means basically to do over, to fix it over again or something. Rehabilitation. What does habilitation mean? Habilitate means to socialize. The assumption of rehabilitation doesn't work. Why? Because you can't rehabilitate someone who was not habilitated in the first place. These people are antisocial criminals. They were never habilitated in the first place. They didn't listen to the laws. They didn't do anything, and they abided by the laws. They did not conform with society's norms. They were never habilitated in the first place. So you can't rehabilitate them because they lost their habilitation. They never had it. They're career criminals. The penal system was created to be just that, a penal system. When the liberals when they take everything over, they fuck it up to a fare thee well. Anytime they put their hands into anything, their thing is let them go. And we're all going to cross our fingers that they're not going to rape anybody else or kill anybody else, and they do 98% of the time.
They put them in jail and they rape each other. Then they kill them. I'm going to screw you and kill you. There, it works.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Therein lies the problem. We can't. Yeah, well, I mean, look, these states are just, and you're right, but the problem is that Massachusetts is like the poster child for this. Every time, and it's not that some of the people in Massachusetts didn't try to fix this. Remember, we tried to get judges elected. We complain about the liberal judges, and I do too, all the time. We tried to get judges elected. CJ remembers that. What did they tell us? Right there, you're not doing it. You're going to have a constitutional convention. You'll never have one of those. Screw it. We told them that we wanted term limits. Right there. You're not getting term limits. We want to reduce the sales tax, and we voted on it. Right there, you're not getting it. I mean, they thumb your nose, and you're right. You guys are right. I'm preaching to the audience. It's rhetorical when we're talking because we know that. We all know that. Everybody on this show knows that. Everybody that we're talking to knows. It's like, but these idiots, you're right, these idiots keep getting reelected. They keep getting reelected. It's like, how in God's name in these states do these people get in? Because these people are nuts. They elect these idiots. I don't know. And I don't know how they can do it, but this state's the worst around because you know, the shit they do in Massachusetts. We've tried to fix the sales tax. We've tried to fix the judges. We've tried to.
You can't fix shit in Massachusetts.
You can't fix shit. That's right. Even their pay raises.
That's
the
right.
Halloween massacre many, many years ago, before some of you guys were born, they gave themselves such a massive pay raise that people finally got pissed off and said, we used to have to vote on their pay raises. They bounced half of them out of office. When what did they do? They changed the law. They went,
of course.
We're not going to let them tell us we can't have a pay raise. We're going to make the law that we can give ourselves a pay raise. And they don't have to approve it. And they did. And they do. And here we are. And they still get elected. What are you gonna do? I don't know. All we can do is do what we do. Tell people to go out and vote. Hope that someday they will show up, and hopefully in the next election. But like I said, I'm already afraid. And CJ said, seems like everybody's already forgotten about what a disaster the snowstorm was.
I
The
know.
lack of leadership. Now everybody's focused about this shit show. They're gonna boo somebody and teach the children to be disruptive. They can't go there, walk up to a microphone and say, I think that she's a great superintendent. Everybody has a right to their opinion. And I think this, and just bury them with people who are going to give an opinion, not yell and boo and disrupt and act like total freaking assholes. And that's what they're going to do. So that's not a good look. That happened to us in the fire department one time. We had an issue that I wanted to speak on, and we knew they were going to limit my time. And I went up there and I said, I'd like you to waive the time. This is an important issue, and it's got something to do with the fire department. And I'm the president. And they said, no, we're not going to let you do it. I said, okay. I had about 100 firefighters at that meeting. I said, everybody go sign up for citizens input. And they all went and signed up. And I said, everybody's going to waive their time and give it to me. And you guys are not going to be out of here for 2 days. And they let us speak. We didn't boo and yell. We did something. We did a political action. I said, okay, everybody's going to sign up for citizens input, and they'll waive their time to me, or I'll give them something to read. That's it. And but there's no booing and, oh, we didn't get our way. There's the liberals again. Oh, we want to be able to chop off everybody's Johnsons and boobs and everything else, and take the children away from the parents, and we'll do it. We'll get all the money. And then when those kids are basket cases later on, when they find out that 11 or 12 is not the time to make those kind of decisions, then tough shit. We don't care. But we did it. But this is what liberals do. They cry and curl up in a fetal position when they don't get their way, and then they get violent. And like, no, that's not a good look for a school department. And Coogan's going to let it go because he's the head of the team. He's the coach. So that's it.
Well, seems to be a very good show. No, James, what you're hearing is the bullshit from the four educating asshats. They're all happy with her because they got a contract.
Yeah.
You want approval? Pay them off. That's what happened. They got paid
James,
off.
I'll tell you, I don't know how bad she is, but I know one thing, that I've watched her at a meeting not do her job as superintendent.
That's right.
As a leader. I've watched her refuse to give information that she was obligated to give. I've seen her tell her that she wasn't going to answer emails, that she wasn't going to basically say, I'm not going to be responsive to the people.
Basically, what
job.
she said was,
So,
right there.
So I don't care how nice a person she is. I've always said that on this show, and I'm consistent. If my neighbor was a plumber and he couldn't fix my toilet, I'd never hire him.
And she
I had a hamburger with him.
We're still doing piss poor. We're still doing piss poor. So I could give a rat's ass about how nice of a person she is. I could give a rat's ass that she's a hilltopper. I could give a rat's ass no matter what. She's not successful.
Yeah, and there were hilltoppers.
Of the corruption.
Yeah, and everything's politics. There are hilltoppers who were really good hilltoppers, who achieved some things that were noteworthy and have never been put in the Durfee Hall of Fame as an athlete.
That's right.
And I can name them. There are a few. Why? Because their name wasn't spelled right and they weren't part of the team.
Would it be Camaro, would it?
Yeah, well, but that's the way. But that's the way it goes. And the thing is, Tracy Curley, the educational system, the metric has to be used. It's not doing well. So that's another thing. But what she's done in front of a camera and not responding to public, whether you like them or not, you are. And I got all the case law. We've said it time and time again. she's obligated to do that, and they cover up everything, and she's part of that team, and Coogan covers for her, she covers for Coogan, and to me, that makes her
And
unacceptable.
Ken Pacheco covers for all of them.
Yeah, and remember one thing, and it goes away quick because it seems like everybody's got the attention span of a gnat. Remember when having all the problems with the police department and the police chief, they said we're going to go outside to get a police chief?
Yep.
What happens now? You know, Curley is not answering the questions to the school committee that we have now. They want to get rid of her. So what's their answer? You still have to keep her because she's a hilltopper. No. How about before, if she was a superintendent they didn't like, their first thing would say, get rid of her because she's not part of the team. Therein lies the problem. It's a double standard.
Well, I want to thank you all for watching. And remember, stay safe, stay angry, and hold those douchebags accountable. Have a great day, and we'll see you on Friday. Thanks for watching.